Hey everybody, welcome to Bestie Book Reviews. I'm here with my bestie Mandy.
And I'm here with my bestie Jessica.
So this is our 1 minute book rec video. This is where we go over all the books that we've read in the past week with 1 minute synopses for each book. But before we get started with that,
well, make sure you watch the whole video because we have some important information at the end.
Okay, so tell me about your reading week.
I had a good reading week.
Did you?
Yeah, I read 7 books and they were all really good.
So I read 8 books, but I'm only going to talk about 6. So you get to start again this week.
No.
Yep.
You can start. You can still start.
All right. Do you have fear of starting? What is that? It's not FOMO. That's fear of.
No, it's just it works out better because then I get like the timer and all that stuff situated.
Mandy has
have to go.
Fear of starting. Okay, that's fine. Okay. So, timer's ready?
Yes.
Okay. So the first book I read this week, I went to Devney Perry because Devney Perry, I can just listen to her all the time. Like I listen to them. She's got great audiobooks, and I like her. I like her books. I like her writing. So I listened to the Clover Chapel. And this is book 2 in her Jameson Valley series. I haven't read book 1 yet. I'm going to probably go back and do it this week. But this is about Emmeline and Nick, or we call her Emmy. So they meet in Vegas one night. She's there for a girls' trip. And the book starts out, they've already met. We don't see how they met, but they've already met. And they're hanging out. And they go, like her friends kind of go off with these other guys and do their own thing. So they go do their own thing. And he's like, you know, they go to all these different places. And every time that they go, he's daring her. She's very uptight. And so he's like, I dare you to do this. And she can't like not do the dare. And so towards the end of the night, he dares her to marry him. And they go get rings. And he tells her this is real. Like it was love at first sight kind of a thing. And she buys it hook, line, and sinker. And they go get married. And they go to their hotel. And the next morning, she wakes up. The bed is empty. The ring is on like the nightstand or something with a note that says sorry. And then we fast forward 9 years later. She moves from New York to a small town in Montana where she's teaching. And guess who she runs into? Her husband that she hasn't been able to find. Nick.
Wow. So he just says sorry and then never
There's
talks to her again? And they were friends?
No, they weren't friends. She was there with a bunch of girlfriends. They met that night.
Oh, okay.
But all she gets is a sorry. And she can't find him. Like she tries to find him. She can't find him. Like to get a divorce because he walked out on her. She was just devastated. Because they weren't drunk when they got married. They consciously made that decision together. On a dare. But yeah.
Wow.
So I give it 4 stars. I really, really liked it.
I might have to try that one.
Yeah. Yep. All right. What's your first book?
My first book was an ALC. And this has a full cast. So I'm so excited for this series. So this particular book has Sean Masters and Aaron Mallon. But like CJ Bloom, Teddy Hamilton, a whole bunch of the greats are like part of this full cast narration. So this is Piper Rain's newest series called The Nest. And this book is Mr. Heartbreaker.
Okay.
So Mr. Heartbreaker is Rowan. He's on the hockey team. And then we have Kylie. Kylie's brother also plays pro hockey. And one of his things when, you know, with her was always like, hey, date whoever you want. Just don't date anybody on my team because like if things go south, like that's going to make it really hard for me on my team. So just date whoever you want, just nobody on the team. And so she's always felt like that was fine. And she's gone along with it. And then her brother's on a different team. And she happens to run into Rowan at a wedding and they get to talking and they decide that, hey, they're consenting adults, no strings attached. They both are not looking for relationships. And so they decide to hook up. And instead of being a one night stand, they decide kind of in a benefits type situation, if you will. And this goes on for a while. And then her brother gets traded to his team. Okay, probably not a big deal, you're thinking. But here's the thing. When she met him, she knew who he was. He didn't realize who she was because they had played on the same team together years and years ago. So he didn't recognize her. So she gave a fake name. So she's been hanging out with him this whole time under a different identity. And now her brother's coming to town. And it's
Who's
called
gonna
The
hit the
Nest
fan?
because all the hockey players, or a majority of them, live in the same apartment building above a
Mhm.
bar that they all frequent.
Mhm.
So that's why they call it The Nest. Gonna be hard to figure that one out. So
Yeah.
I absolutely love this. I gave it 5 stars. I love one thing I love about Piper Rain's stories is that they always get me invested in the next story before this one is over, but without taking away from the story. Like sometimes it's a fine line for authors to write that those side characters so you get invested in them, but
Mhm.
not so that they're overshadowing the main couple.
Right.
And Piper Rain does it fantastic. Like I'm like I need more of Henry's story right now.
Mhm. 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 Yep. Yeah, that sounds good actually. I've read a couple Piper Rain that I've liked too. So. Mhm.
They're always, I mean, their audio has always been fantastic. Any of their books that I've listened to,
Mhm.
but yeah, they're fantastic.
Yeah.
And for those who don't know, Piper Rain are two authors that write together. And they also write dark romance under a very similar but different pen name.
Find out what that is.
It's like it's very similar. I can't think of it.
Well, you can look while I'm talking. How about that?
I'll
We'll see.
try.
Okay. All right. So the next book I picked up, this is one that I've seen like around in all the dark romance groups, and everybody's like, "Oh, it's the darkest out there. It's one of the darkest out there." It was probably one of the goriest out there, and the subject matter was really dark. But I don't. I'm gonna tell you about it. So this is Dolly by Misha Stone, and this is about. I'm gonna Dolly and Ken. So Dolly, when the book starts out, she's already been abducted. She's in like a cell, and someone's holding her, and they let her out to dress her up like a doll, and then they have a camera going with like the kind of like how I guess like the cam girls do, like with the where people can say what they pay to see what they want with her. And there's these two guys there that abuse her and do all sorts of things to her. And she's been held there for a while. Meanwhile, we have Brian, who is a detective, and he has found out about this girl who's gone missing. She was a college age girl, and she's been missing for 2 months. And they found out about this sex ring, and him and his partner are trying to break it up. And that's all I'm going to tell you about it because you kind of have to. It's suspenseful. It's more of a mystery. I mean, it's a romance, but it's kind of got that mystery vibes where you don't know for sure what's going on. So I gave it 4 stars. I did enjoy it, but I will say the gore kind of got to me after a while. The graphicness kind of got to me after a while, where I was like, this is just not like it was too much dark. It was just gross. So I did enjoy it. I was just kind of like, eh. But the audio just came out for it this week. So probably not my absolute all-time favorite dark romance, but it was good. If you like that kind of thing. Mm-hmm.
Okay, Piper Rain's dark romance pen name.
Mm-hmm.
P Rain.
Oh.
I know it was really close.
Okay.
So you just lose the Piper.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. Glad I solved that mystery.
Yeah, I'm glad you did too.
All right. My next one is another ALC.
Shocker.
I know. I am like in my ALC era right now.
I know.
And
Well,
I'm loving
when
it.
you message me and you're like, I'm gonna go apply for more ARCs, I'm like, oh my gosh. Or more ALCs. I'm like, oh no. Is she gonna go?
I have a spreadsheet. I'm organized. I've got it under control.
You got it. You got it.
Okay.
Yes. Okay.
So this is Play Call by Lisa Suzanne. It is the second book in the Vegas Aces series. The Coach. And so, because it's the second book, it's a series, you have to read them in order. It is about the same couple. I won't go into too much detail. This is Jolene and Lincoln still. Lincoln has recently become one of the head coaches at the Vegas Aces. Jolene is a reporter. They have history. There's a family rivalry. They used to be in love, and now they don't even talk to each other and can't even stand to be around each other. But we're finding that maybe there's still some feelings under the surface there. And there's this whole mystery of what happened in the families. And if you've read any of the other books, you probably have a really good inkling to which parent is in the wrong. I'm just guessing on that based on how I particularly feel about this character. And I don't want to give anything away, but yeah, there we go. Have it.
Okay. Did you say what you rated it?
No.
Oh, okay. Are you going to say what you rated it?
5 stars. Sometimes I don't like to rate a series like this because it's kind of hard, but each one I'm like really been invested in.
Okay.
Sometimes like I don't know. Sometimes it can feel like, okay, we got a chunk of the story and then we get another chunk, but this one I'm very invested in. So I'm at 5 stars. Oh, and it's narrated by Samantha Brentmore, who I absolutely love, and Aaron Shedlock.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna give you anxiety with my next book, and I'm really sorry, and I promise to be a really good girl with this book. So audio this week came out, or not came out, you can actually get it on the author's website for $5 before it comes out on Audible for Sticks and Stones. So I did listen to this. And before we start the timer, start talking, the reason why Mandy's like got a little bit of anxiety is this book is, if you haven't heard the story, this book is the reason why we have 1 minute book recs, because in one of our very first videos I talk about it. It's a favorite of mine. And what was it, like 12 minutes long?
I think it was longer than 12 minutes.
No,
but
I timed it.
You did a like step by step. I mean,
did. We were just learning.
There was no mystery left about what the book was about.
I mean, I didn't know what I was doing. We were just learning, but I watched it earlier in the year, and I recorded, timed it. And I was like, it was 12 whole minutes, which is ridiculous. Okay, so let's talk about the ALC. Let's talk about the audio. Like I said, you can get this on Grace's website for $5 right now instead of waiting for it to come out through Audible. But this is about Nova. She has just lost her parents in a car accident. They both died the same day. She's 24. She's on her own. When someone comes to her door, when she opens, it's her dad's attorney and a social worker. And they're like, oh yeah, your dad was having an affair. You have a baby brother. I think he was like 6 weeks old at the time. The mom had a brain aneurysm and just died. And if you don't take him, he'll go into foster care. He might be adopted, but hey, you going to take him or not? He has a heart condition. So what you going to do? She decides to take the baby. And when she gets close to getting custody of him, then these 3 guys come out of the woodwork. These 2 guys come out of the woodwork. They were her, the mom's foster siblings, and they want custody of the baby. So they all kind of argue over custody. These 2 of these guys are hockey players. One of them is a investment guy. Like he's a business guy of some kind. He makes a lot of money. And so when she finally wins custody, they say, look, we want to be around Huey. We want him to have, you need help, and we want to be here. So will you move to where we are and try it as a
All right, time is up.
And that's it. It's really good. Okay, so the audio was amazing. Like I messaged Grace and I was like, oh my gosh, your audio people were amazing. So I just want to say it's Shiloh James and Grayson Owens. And I don't think I've ever listened to anything by them. But Grace said she was very picky about audio. And so good job. The audio people did such a good job. It was great.
Does the guy do all 3 of the?
Yeah. But they feel different when I didn't feel like it was the same person doing it. So he did such a good job. So yeah.
It must be really weird to record
that. I know. So
I know we talked to one narrator and they said that they actually will change position in the booth when they're doing somebody else's voice so that they're in the right headspace.
Yeah. So anyhow, it's $5 for a little while longer. So if you want to listen to it, go get it. Just Grace McGinty's, just Google Grace McGinty, you'll find her website. I'm sure it's like gracemcginty.com. Anyhow, okay, what you got?
My next book is Breaking Giants by L.M. Halloran. I'm so excited.
Oh, wait. Oh, you're going to do that. Okay, sorry. You're so excited?
I'm so excited to look at you, Jessica, apparently. I'm so excited to announce that we are going to be interviewing L.M. Halloran. And that author interview will be out on Wednesday. So you're definitely going to want to check back to see that.
Okay. All right. Ready now?
I'm so excited.
I know you are. Okay.
But I mean, you could have switched to me earlier.
I know. Apparently I switched to myself. I know. I just realized that too.
I'm sorry. Did you want to talk about Sticks and Stones some more?
Yeah.
that really what
No,
was happening there?
no, you go right
Okay.
ahead.
So this is about Julian. He is in the band Breaking Giants. He's the lead singer. He's like the rock legend. Um, like everyone knows who he is, basically. And Rose runs a little cafe, and this takes place in Seattle, which is kind of fun. And Rose runs this little cafe there with some of her family, like I think it's her cousin, and they have an open mic night. And sometimes Rose will sing there, but she does not want to go further in her career. She has well, her parents were famous musicians, and there's just so much to unpack with this couple. So I was trying to think of how to talk about this book. It is just incredible. One night, Julian comes in and him and Rose meet. They kind of hit it off. And she wants nothing to do with the magician lifestyle, but Julian is persistent. But Julian has things or people in his life that make Rose question why he's being so persistent with her when he probably shouldn't be. But nothing is ever as it seems. But really, Rose is the one who is pretty broken in this situation. And maybe she doesn't realize that quite like I don't know. It's hard not to give things away because the
Mhm.
way most of Ellen Halloran's
Howard.
books go, you just like there's just so much that happens as the
Mhm.
book unfolds that it's hard to talk about. But 5 stars, absolutely love this. I can't wait to read. There's one more book in the series, but it's about a different couple, so I'm very excited to read it.
Okay. Yay.
Okay.
All right. So the next book I did was a reread for reasons that we're not going to discuss, but I feel like I'm going to talk about it again because it's a favorite and I haven't talked about it in a really long time. And that's Take Me With You by Nina G. Jones. It's Halloween. It's the perfect time to read a dark captive romance, guys. Seriously, it is. So this is about Sam and Vesper. So Vesper, this takes place in the 70s. Vesper takes care of her little brother who has cerebral palsy. Her parents are like gone a lot. She's in her early 20s. She's a nursing student. Her boyfriend is in medical school. And then we have Sam. Sam is a peeping Tom. Sam breaks into, like, he watches couples for a long time and he'll plant things in their houses, like the things that he uses to tie them up. And then after weeks of watching them, then he breaks into their houses and he separates them and he does naughty things. He does really bad things to the female and makes her think that the man agreed to it in order to save his own life. He never kills them. He just does that and then he leaves. Well, he sees Vesper, and there's something different about her because of the way she treats her brother. Sam doesn't speak. He has a horrible speech impediment, and so he can only really whisper, and otherwise it gets out. And so he doesn't really talk or anything. And so he sees the way she treats her brother, and he decides that he wants her. So one night he takes her. And she's afraid her brother's going to get hurt. So because her brother wakes up in the middle of the act, and so he takes her, and he's not prepared to take her. But he does, and he keeps her. So loved it. Still love it. I still think it is an amazing book. I love it so much. And I know my head needs to be examined, but I really do. There's nothing like a good Stockholm Syndrome,
All right.
apparently. Mm-hmm. All right, next.
Okay.
Okay.
So next I have an arc. But before you get after me, this book was on my October TBR and it was there before I got the arc. So I was very excited to get the arc for this. This is Shattered Dreams by Natasha Madison.
Ooh,
So
okay.
this starts off her new series, Dream. And so obviously it's the first book. This is Autumn and Charlie. Autumn's best friend and Charlie's girlfriend, they're all like friends together, she ends up dying. And for various reasons, Autumn ends up kind of shouldering the blame for this. And the town kind of turns on her basically. So she decides to leave. So she leaves the town, but then so we fast forward 8 years later, and I'll just tell you the beginning of this book was gut wrenching, like tears. So 8 years later, Autumn comes back because she gets news about her dad. And so she comes back to town and she is desperate to try and save her father's distillery. like it's just, oh, it's so frustrating how much stuff she has to go through in this story. But when she's back in town, she ends up running into Charlie, and Charlie is not happy to see her at all. And yeah, and this is their love story. So tell me, how is that going to work at all?
I don't know. You read the book. You tell me.
I'm not telling you. It would be a
Okay.
huge spoiler.
Oh,
But that's what hooked me on this book is like, ooh, he blames her for like the love of his life's death, and they're gonna end up together. How?
Yeah,
How?
exactly.
Yeah. So good. 5 stars. It will be a favorite read of the year.
Okay. Awesome. That's awesome. I love that you're finding favorite reads of the year because that's gonna make that fun.
Jessica's
Okay.
like, I hope all Mandy's books suck.
No, I mean it's gonna make it fun when you call me and you're like, I can't choose. I have 50 favorites of the year.
I know.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking about that the other day. If after we do our end of the year top reads, are we then going to do a new video of our top favorites to see if anything changed or what?
I don't know. We'll have to talk about that. I don't know. Do you guys think we should do that? Because
No,
last year that's
yeah.
what we did, right? Last year we did our top 23 of 23, and then we did our top 25 books of all time. I think it was top 20 of all time. Like, should we redo our top 20 of all time at the end of this year? Or at the beginning of next year? You guys tell us. Okay. You ready for my next book? I mentioned last week that Ruby Dixon had 2 new releases this week. One was a release. It was a book drop and audio on the same day, and then the other one was just audio. Actually, I think there was a third one too that was but I didn't get to that either. So I read one of them. I listened to one of the new audios. I haven't done Full Moon Rising yet, but I'll do that this week. Okay, so I listened to Only the Clonely by Ruby Dixon this week. So this is, I feel like you should, I know you don't have to start a new series, but I really feel like you should have read the Rockstar series if you're going to go into this, because I've read a couple of those, but not all of those. So I was slightly lost when I first started this book, but this is about Ruthie and Kha'Zix. So Ruthie she wakes up, she finds out that she's a clone. She's not, and her clone, the person she was cloned from is on this ship with her. She's human. And so she is really struggling with that because she has memories and stuff, but yet they're not hers because she's not the original. And we find out that Kha'Zix, who is, he's an Ani. If you've read Ruby's other books, then you know what that is. But he is made as a clone. Like his people were made to be gladiators and work people. They were made to be basically slaves. And so he immediately falls in love with Ruthie, and he tells her, I am in love with you, and I am going to wait for you as long as it takes. And then you got poor Ruthie here, who's just trying to figure out who she is because she's here with this person who looks like her, but it's not her. And then they find another clone and who is her, but not her. And so she's really trying to find herself, and she's lonely, but like, you know, she doesn't know who she is. And so this is their story. I gave it 3.5 stars. I enjoyed the story. I love Ruby's books. I just kind of felt a little lost, and I think it should have been stated that you really should read the Rockstar series first. And there were just times where I was like, it's not Ice Planet Barbarians, okay? Let's just face it. It's not. But I did enjoy it quite a bit. So it is worth the read. Or the audio was great too. She used different audio narrators than she normally uses too. I can't remember who it was, but they were different. So I'm just saying, I wasn't expecting that. Okay.
Okay.
What do you got?
Okay, my next book is The Muse by L.M. Halloran.
Okay. All right. Let's talk about it.
I don't understand why things are so hard for me. Okay. So this is Iris and Becca's story, and it is student teacher, but we are in graduate school. So Iris is in her last year of graduate school when James Beckett, as this famous poet and professor, comes to work at the college that she's at, and she gets assigned, what is it called? Like, she's not the TA, but she's something very close to a TA in his class. And he's extremely hard on her work. And there is a little chemistry between the two of them. But like in any good L.M. Halloran book, there is a lot more going on behind the scenes than we realize. This book Oh, it was really, really good, and it is gut-wrenching in parts of it, so please check your triggers. I know that you probably would be like, "Oh, would I really need to for this book?" You might want to, though, just to be on the safe side, because there's some hard topics that come up in this, but oh my god, it was so good. And just it's not your typical student teacher forbidden aspect. Like that's like this big in this story, really. Like
Mm-hmm.
there's so much else going on. And I don't want to give anything away, so I feel like I'm not really even giving a review other than just telling you it was so good. You should really, really read it.
Okay.
I like a little bit of mystery in my books where I don't know what's going to happen. It gets boring reading like books and you're like, "Oh, okay. They're
Mm-hmm.
going to fall in love and then they'll probably break up in the third act and get back together."
I don't want it if it's
Like,
predictable. Yeah.
I don't like that.
Mm-mm.
I mean, sometimes it's okay. Palate cleansers, sometimes that happens and it works. But for the most part, I love to not know what is going to be happening. And this
Exactly.
book brings that a lot.
Awesome. Okay. So for my last book, again, it was a reread. I'm sorry, it was a week. I had an extremely busy week. Mandy, you know this. It was crazy here, and so I had to listen to stuff, but I couldn't focus. But towards the end of the week, I was like, oh, what was that one book that I really liked that was an arranged marriage situation, and I really, really wanted to read it. So I haven't talked about this a lot, but this is a historical with an arranged marriage, and it is Texas Glory by Lorraine Heath. This is the second in a series, but you can read it as a standalone. So this is a Wild West story. This is about Cordelia, or Dee is what she goes by, and Dallas. So Dallas is the oldest brother to two other brothers. The brother that's younger than him actually kind of stole his wife on their wedding day or right after their wedding day, because that was a whole book. That's the first book. You can read that one. You don't have to, but it's a good one. But he is kind of having a little bit of a land war. He kind of owns the whole town. He's in a little bit of a land war with this one family. And in order to settle that, he agrees to marry Cordelia in exchange for land rights so that her brothers will get the land that they want. So he gets something, because the one thing he wants is a son. He is not offering love. He is not offering companionship. He just wants a son to continue on his legacy. And that is like solely what he's focused on. Cordelia has been raised in an abusive home. Her father actually abused her mother to the point where she fell down the stairs and then became a vegetable, and she had to take care of her mother until she died because the mom was having an affair, and it's like a whole thing. And so she's been sheltered and she's been secluded. And so she just doesn't know a lot. And all she wants is a man who's going to treat her good and love her. But she realizes that's not what she's going to get from Dallas. And so this whole story is him trying to figure, like, it's sad. There's a lot of angst because she just wants somebody who will love and accept her. And all he wants is a son. And he just doesn't care. But the more he's around her, the more, he starts to fall for her. So, it's still a 5-star book. I loved it. I love it. So, okay. What you got?
Okay. My next book is another arc. This is B. Celeste's new book, though. She made a surprise announcement that it was coming just like, I think it wasn't even a month ago. And she asked for people who wanted to read it. I love the Lyndon Yu series. I love B. Celeste. So I'm like, yes, please.
Yeah.
And I was floored when I got the email saying I got it. I didn't think I would. So yay.
Okay.
Very thankful.
Okay.
So yay. Thank you, B. Celeste. Anyway, so this is Teach You to Love Me. And this is about Rachel and Matthew. We see glimpses of these characters in the other Lyndon Yu series. And just so you know, if you haven't read the other books, this kind of starts in one particular timeline and kind of moves forward through their stories. So we see glimpses of things that are happening with the other characters. So it could potentially be a little spoilery if you haven't read the other books, but you can definitely read this as a standalone if you want to. So, of course, we have football again. Matthew is on the Dragons football team at Lyndon U. And Rachel is the newly appointed, oh my gosh, what was her job title? She's the crap, I'm trying to blank. She's the athletic person who makes sure that they're like doing all their classes and passing and like getting all that stuff organized for them. Kind of like a counselor, but she's not technically a counselor. I can't think of the name. I'm so sorry. I wasted my entire minute
The
freaking
athletic
out
director?
about what?
Was it like the athletic director?
No, she's not the
Oh,
athletic director. No, she works just with their team to make sure that they're on track for graduation and getting all their classes done and all that. But anyway, um, so because she works for the team, that makes it so she cannot have any sort of relationship outside of the professional one with them. But Matthew and her are not very far off in age. She's only like 2 or 3 years older than him, maybe only two. And but so even though like in any other circumstances their relationship would not be forbidden, it is because of this. And then if you've read the other stories, you know there's a lot of scandals that end up happening, so that makes it even more uh like not okay. And oh my gosh, I just love the both of them. And my timer went off a while ago, but
I know.
just
I was just listening to you and not paying attention,
she just
apparently.
wants me to keep going.
I do. I just want to listen to you talk.
So Matthew is just like, he's this jock, but he like really falls for Rachel. And I just really like the progression of their relationship. It was
Okay.
good. I really enjoyed it. It's 5 stars. B Celeste is usually a 4 or 5 star um read for me. So,
Yeah.
and it's football season, so I just love the football
I know.
recs.
I know. Okay. You have one more, right?
I do.
You do!
This
Yay!
is
Okay, so what's that?
okay. This is another ALC. I'm telling you, I'm in my ALC era.
Yeah.
But this is one that I got the first ALC in this series and I loved it. And I actually said, I'm going to read the rest of the series or listen to it. And so I was like, I didn't think I was going to get it because the book, it already came out. So I'm like, oh, as soon as I finish these other ones, I'm going to go read it. And just before, um, I just like got it in my email one day and they're like, oh, here you go. So I'm like, wait, it's like 2 days after it came out. But anyway, so this, oh, I forgot to say the B Celeste comes out on the 24th of this month. So
Okay.
if you're watching this on Monday, you just have a few days. This one is already out though. So this is number 2 in the Rolling Hills series by Shel Salone. And it is called The One I Need.
Okay.
I didn't want to mess that up because her titles are very close to each other, like The One I Love, The One I Hate.
Yeah.
But this is The One I Need. This is Oliver's story. So we saw Oliver in the first one, and he is the friend that likes to ask people to marry him. He's now up to 33 marriage proposals and 33 non-acceptance. And Oliver's a great guy. You would think that he like would give up on love, but he has not let this get him down. So he meets Izzy, and of course, he proposes to her the night they meet. She thinks he's joking. And they end up having like a one night stand. She is not looking for love though. So we kind of have a little bit of a role reversal. Like she's not the one looking for love, and he is the one that's all over it. And they end up becoming friends through this situation. And it's just a really sweet story of the two of them like learning what love really is. Because even though Oliver loves love, he doesn't really know what it is because you don't go around asking people to marry you like as frequently as he has. Oh, thank you. So I just love this one. It's super sweet. There's a little bit of angst because there is some drama in her past, obviously, which is why she is anti-love. But I really enjoyed it. So it was 5 stars. So if you've been paying attention, I had a 5 star reading week.
You did.
7 books, all of them were 5 stars. So yeah,
Good
I must have
job.
just been in a great mood.
Yeah. But or just had really great books, which is what you
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and some of them were really like emotional. Oh, I did not add this. So in Teach You to Love Me, um, Rachel's mom has passed away, and there's some like I wouldn't say you need to check triggers, but if that might be a sensitive subject. So my mom passed away for over 4 years ago, which is just wild to me.
Crazy.
I know, it's wild to me, like when I think about that.
I know.
But this book like really got me. There were multiple times where I'm reading and I'm just like crying. So it was very emotional for me. I loved it, obviously, but I just wanted to throw that out there because I don't think like 3 years ago I could have read that. I wouldn't have been able to get through it at the time.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I
Even
I
when we
loved it.
first started the channel and started, I remember recommending books to you and you were like, I don't think I can do that. So that was what, 2 years ago?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes, you know. And the thing about like, I mean, everyone's experience with losing a parent is different. But what I have found is it's the most random things. Like, it's not the big things. Like, yeah, Christmas is different. Yeah, like holidays are different. Yeah, it's weird on her birthday. But those aren't the big, like, those big things aren't what get me. It's like super random where I'll be like, oh, I really need, like, something will happen. And I'll be like, oh, I need to tell my mom. And then I'll just start
Well,
crying.
we had that moment this week. I know, I'm already getting turned up. We had that moment this week where you and I were talking, we were in the car, and I was talking to you, and I was like, oh, wait, you can't just call your mom and give her a hard time about something. And
Yeah.
that even got me for a minute. And I mean, I loved your mom. So, but that got me, and I was like, yeah, it's hard.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right, let's not end on this happy note.
Yeah,
Okay.
let's not. Okay.
So,
all right. Yeah. So we are working our way to 2,000. So thank you, everyone who is subscribing and helping us meet that goal. We greatly appreciate that.
Yep.
So we have in our October TBR video, we asked you to comment, and all you had to do was be a subscriber and comment what was on your October TBR.
Yeah.
To be entered to win one of the books on our list here. So you get to pick one of those 7 books, and we will send that to you. So whichever one you want, just let us know. And then, so we're going to do that right now. I have my wheel of names spinning, and I keep looking at it. I feel like it's like hypnotizing me or making me dizzy or something. So, and then once we have that winner, we'll announce what the next thing that we're doing is.
Yes.
Okay. So I've been thinking about how to do this without like messing with the camera. So I'm hopeful that I can carefully turn my computer around and then lift up my desk because I have a standing desk.
Uh-huh.
Can you kind of see the names?
I can just see that there's names going around now. Do you want me to make you like the sole person on the screen? That might help.
I don't know. Okay, now I gotta figure out if I can. Do you see my mouse? Okay, I need to stand up.
Okay.
Okay. Where's the mouse? There it is. Okay, so I just need to click, and then it should tell us who our winner is.
Yes.
Can you hear the clapping?
No. So it's favorite books -NN8HS.
Okay.
So or fave books, yeah. Okay.
Okay. So
congratulations. Yay!
Yes, congratulations. I hope you could hear the clapping. Could you hear the clapping and the cheering from the computer? Oh, bummer.
No, but the window's open and it's storming outside, so there's some background noise here.
Oh, that was loud. Sorry. Okay. So make sure you message us because we don't really have a way to get a hold of you. So send us an email, bestiebookreviews@gmail.com, or you can message us on Instagram as well. And then we'll figure out how to get you the book that you would like.
Yay. So congratulations. That's awesome.
Yes. Congratulations. And thank you for being a subscriber and for commenting on our video.
Yes.
So next up, we will be randomly doing the Amazon gift cards. So you'll want to stay tuned because in some random video coming up, we will announce how you can be entered to win one of the gift cards. So the gift card will be $10, so you can get something off your Amazon book wish list. Yes. Or I guess, I mean, we can't really control how you use it. So
yeah, you can do whatever you want. It's your gift card, but yeah. The theory is you'll get a physical book. It'll go towards a physical book or a Kindle book. So that's the theory.
So you will get a book off your Amazon wish list if you choose when you get your $10 gift card from us. So we'll do that a couple of times as we approach 2,000. Once we get to 2,000, a lucky winner will get all 7 books. So what we'll have more information when we get to 2,000 to talk about celebrating that and how you can make sure to be included in that drawing.
Yes. Yep.
So in the meantime, hit that subscribe button. Make sure you have your notifications on and check back on Mondays, Thursdays, and Saturdays for new videos from us. And comment, how was your reading week? What are you reading? What do you want to be reading? Are there any videos you want to see us do?
Yeah, do you want us to do our top of all time at the beginning of 2025?
Let us know.
Yeah, all right.
Hey, and again, congratulations.
Yes, for sure.
How did we say that?
Fave books.
Fave books.
Yeah, and there's some other stuff after that, but we'll just say fave books. So, all right, guys. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video.